You've been around the team, of course. Tom has taken some time for some personal reasons a little earlier in camp. This is something that the team knew about, or at least seemingly is telling everybody that they knew about, and it seems like business as usual after the little press conference today.
Ryan, you're way more confident than I am in all of this because, I live in a world of the sky is falling. All I know is the last, 6 months, somebody has retired or unretired about every 20 days or 40 days, it seems. So I don't know what to make of it. And the thing is, what's unusual about it for me is they had a chance to get out in front of this, right? Last week was his birthday. He's now missed 3 of the last 6 practices. Last week they told us, they had a day off, then he didn't work his birthday. Then he was, off for personal reasons after that. And they had every opportunity to say, look, he's going to be missing some time. He's going to practice a few days next week. Then he's going to be gone until after Tennessee. They didn't do that. And I don't know why they didn't choose to do it. It seems like a natural time to let everybody know about this thing that had been planned before training camp. All I know is, I was real fond of his first retirement letter when he said that he only knows one way, and that's to commit, 100%, and that, we know that Tom is, one of the most committed guys. I mean, hell, he's played 23 years. You don't get to do that unless he's crazy committed to everything from his diet to practice to film study and all of that. And now you have a situation this year where, take a couple weeks off. We'll see you after Tennessee. So this it just doesn't wash with what we're being told. But by the same token, maybe this was, and the speculation is going to be rampant, right? But maybe this is one of the conditions of him playing, right? He talked about work-life balance. He talked about how difficult it was. His kids are older. Certainly his wife has done the large part of parenting. He's got one son in New York with Bridget Moynihan that he sees not all the time. So perhaps this is something that they had discussed, at least for training camp. But I'm as curious as probably you are right now.
We're speaking with Rick Stroud here on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line, Tampa Bay Times writer. That was kind of going to be my next question. The speculation you're talking about rampant. Is there any other or rumors flying around or things like that of what these personal reasons may be? Because to your point, if it is in the contract or if it's something they did discuss, why not divulge that stuff and let people understand that this is going to be a common maybe experience and part of what Tom Brady being the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is this year?
Well, and that's what I don't know, because if it was something planned, now the word personal, right, means it's something you probably don't want to disclose. But if it was something that they had agreed upon and they knew was going to occur, I don't know why you wouldn't get in front of it. But there is that element of it's nobody's business, and I suppose that he, and like everyone else, is entitled to a certain amount of privacy. And unfortunately, it just invites more speculation, right? You've got older parents. You've got, a famous wife and, children that are getting older and have more needs. And you just don't know. And, of course, the tabloids have always been on top of Brady and so forth. So I just think it leads to more speculation that's probably not all that healthy. But, again, that's the personal aspect of it. They and Tom don't feel they need to share it. And I'll say this, he keeps his circle pretty tight. They're extremely tight-lipped as well. If anybody knows, no one's sharing it. I mean, you don't see it in the media with those that are sort of Tom Brady's mouthpieces. And so, it's not something he's obviously prepared to share. So whether this is, again, part of his decision and the way he's going to manage this year and coming back and part of the agreement to do so, I don't know. I just know, like I said, he has always been the most committed quarterback who ever played, I think, whether it's film, study, practice, you name it. Now, does he have to do as much after 23 years that someone in their first year has to do. Certainly not. He's got the cheat codes, and he knows these players. They said he wanted to work a couple weeks with some of the new guys. They got Kyle Rudolph in here, Julio Jones. And listen, watching him throw, I think he could show up, September 11th if we don't see him until that day and possibly beat the Dallas Cowboys. I've never seen anything like it. His arm's phenomenal. He's accurate as hell. He's got guys making plays all over the place for him. So maybe that he just knows this, but it's not been his MO in the past, and it certainly seems like there's something going on this year.
Most expectations have everybody looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the team this year to once again repeat as division champs. Carolina's kind of in disarray. Atlanta as well rebuilding. Bigger question is, what does New Orleans look like, right? They've had for whatever reason, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers number during the regular season over the last 2 years. Sean Payton is out. What are the expectations for this team? Is it division champions where most likely where they're hoping for to get back to?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it. I mean, for whatever reason, there's really two teams in the NFC that Tom Brady has struggled with in the regular season since he's been here, and that's New Orleans and the Rams.
Yep.
He hasn't beaten either one in the regular season. They got him when it counted, obviously, in Drew Brees' last game to go on to the NFC Championship and then win the Super Bowl. So there's that. But without Sean Payton, him and Brees were such a constant with that franchise. Now, we're well familiar with Jameis Winston. It's hard to believe he's going into his 8th season, and we're still talking about whether Jameis is going to make it or not. I think after 8 seasons, you kind of know who he is. But last year, I thought that Peyton kind of played around him a little bit. He was still 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was 7-3 when he tore his ACL, ironically or sadly, against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now he's coming back, trying to play with an injury, with a knee brace. He gets Michael Thomas back. Their defense is what's given the Bucks the most trouble. I mean, they have sort of the recipe to get to Tom Brady and able to pressure Tom with their front four and play coverage behind it. They've got some athletic corners, and they just seem to, really be a problem for Tom to really get any kind of sort of continuity. And I think, with Bowles being here, I think there's an understanding more so than when even Bruce was sort of the father of no risk it, no biscuit, that against some of these high-powered teams or just teams that are, aggressive like that, you've got to be able to control the ball and the clock and help your defense. You can't put them out there with too many 3-and-outs, and that's sort of what's happened against New Orleans is they've gotten off to slow starts and they've given the ball back to New Orleans too many times and found themselves behind. So, somewhere in there is the recipe to win. But you got to give credit to the Saints, and I think they're going to be challenging for the NFC South. That's who the Bucs will have to beat to win this division. And then if they're going to go, beyond that, they're going to have to beat the Rams down the road, and that's going to be really something to watch because they play both those teams. And then those first 4 games, I mean, hell, their first home game is the Green Bay Packers after they start at Dallas and at New Orleans. So they're going to have to hit it pretty fast. If they can get their quarterback back in here to start practicing,
Right.
That's the key, right?